Hello, welcome to the Essential Reporting module, which we'll be doing this trimester. So I'm Ian Wood, one of your tutors for the Essential Reporting module. And so this video is looking at what we'll be doing during the module, so introducing the module and introducing some of the key concepts that we'll be touching on. So if I just put myself down there in the corner while I'm talking. So let me just run through a couple of things. If you see that icon, that's just there to remind me to record the session. If you see this icon, this is directed at you just to ask you to do something. So you may see that if I ask you to do something, and I just want you to pause this video briefly just to go away and think about something and then come back and press play again once you've done what I've asked you to do. So here we go. We have that a little bit so you can see it a bit better. A signpost, so through the lecture we'll come back to this and you'll be able to see where we are up to. So this is signposting this online lecture which we're doing at the moment. So I'm going to be talking about what's the point of journalism, but also then looking at some of the nuts and bolts of the module in terms of what we cover and what the assessments will be. And then I just want to finish by giving a brief introduction to the whole idea of news writing. As you'll become aware, we will also be doing a face-to-face workshop, hopefully, if everything stays as it is at the moment, where we will be able to be in the same room together. So there'll also be face-to-face workshops each week, and in that we'll be getting our hands on the keyboards and getting into the basic principles of news writing and actually starting to write things. So I wanted to, before we get into any of that, there's a couple of bits of housekeeping we have to go through. So first of all, ethical approval. Within a university setting, we need to make sure that everything we do is done on an ethical basis, that we're doing the right thing. So there will be a form I will ask you to sign, and those forms, copies of those forms are available on Blackboard. But I'll ask you during one of the face-to-face workshops to sign a hard copy of the form. Nothing to worry about. What those forms are basically saying is that you will adhere to the codes of conduct which cover the entire industry, the media industry. One of the key codes of conduct is the Editor's Code from the Independent Press Standards Organisation. Now, I'd like you to read that code. It's only one side of A4. There's a thumbnail of it there. But if you would read that, the link is on Blackboard, so you can follow that through and have a read. And it covers things like accuracy and respecting people when they're in times of hardship or emotional distress. It talks about when it's possible to use clandestine devices, but that's quite a rare and very controlled set of circumstances. And it basically says if you behave in a honest, straightforward, professional manner, you'll be okay. But I want you to read that Editor's Code of Practice, and I will ask you each week whether you've read that, because that is the basic rule book which governs all of certainly print and online media activity. This is what the form looks like, the ethical approval form, and this is the one I fill in, and you can read the detail of that on Blackboard if you're worried about signing something which you haven't read the detail of. But what you'll see in that is that it covers the codes of conduct. As I say, ipso, the editor's code is the main one we're talking about in this module. There is another code of conduct from the Office of Communications, Ofcom, which is the regulatory body for the broadcasting industry. So it's worth having a look at that as well. Again, the details of the Ofcom code are on Blackboard. This will be the what the form looks like when you see it online, when you look in Blackboard. So you don't need to read it all now, read it online. You can see exactly what I've asked the university to approve. This is the form I'll be asking you to sign. So it's a two-sided form. Big X there is where I'll be asking you to sign it. And what it does, it runs through and summarizes all of those issues around the ethical approval for the module, and that means sticking to the IPSO and Ofcom codes of conduct. If you do that, you've got nothing to worry about. Second thing I wanted to talk to you about before we really get going is about risk, just to be aware of the risks that are involved in journalism. Now, the key risk, of course, at the moment is COVID-19. So I need you to operate within whatever the prevailing safety advice is from the university and from the government at the time that you're operating. In general, that will involve social distancing. So depending on the setting, it could be, in general, it should be 2 meters social distancing, but it should also, in certain circumstances, involve 1 meter plus distancing. And the plus is important. It means that you should be wearing a mask or taking other mitigating precautions against the transmission of the virus. If you're in any doubt, go onto the university website and there's advice, detailed advice on there on how to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. However, there are some other risks which you need to be aware about, and there's a section in the module on Blackboard all about risk assessment. And basically it means just keeping your wits about you. In general, we'll be talking to people during this semester. A lot of interviews on any contact you have with members of the public may well be remote. They certainly should be distanced, but they may well be done remotely. But you still need to be aware of who you're talking to and the information that you're giving to those people about yourself. So have a look at all the risk control or risk assessment information that's on Blackboard. So if you do go to an event or to an interview, as I say, obviously observing COVID-19 precautions, we would recommend you go with somebody rather than going by yourself, and you should meet in public spaces that are regarded as being COVID-19 secure. If you are going somewhere to conduct a piece of work, an interview, talk to one of your tutors in order to make sure that you've considered COVID-19 precautions, but also that you're taking basic precautions for your own safety. I'd always advise that you take a mobile phone with you and make sure that it's fully charged, so that you've always got a way of contacting somebody else if there's a problem during any sort of meeting that you might have. And if you did feel threatened or in danger, there's no reason why you would. I've not had this situation emerge, but it's always worth just thinking ahead. You should call emergency services. Don't leave messages or emails for your friends or for tutors if they're not responding immediately. If you feel you're in danger, then you should dial 999. So I know that's all kind of housekeeping, but it's important housekeeping, particularly when I'm talking to you about COVID-19. It's important we take that seriously and that we observe the prevailing health precautions.